Hello everyone, Namaste. Today I'm going to be making a dish for you that's dear to my heart because this is one of my mom's recipes. So ये माँ का हाथ का खाना है and it also reminds me of dhabas when you're driving to Punjab. It's Baingan ka Bharta. Now there are many recipes out there, but this recipe is excellent. So do watch the video till the end because I'm also going to mention a secret ingredient sometime during the video. So you have to watch the whole thing. So to start with, what we'll do is we have this nice Baingan. Now you don't want a Baingan that's too fat because it won't cook through. So something that's medium size. So when you're going to select it, select a nice medium Baingan like this. And normally we make this with two, but I'm just making with one, so it's this will be enough for two people to eat. So we take a Baingan, we have a couple of tomatoes here, and first we slice the Baingan, but you want to make sure you don't slice completely through it. So I'll show you how to do that. Take a nice sharp knife and slit it through till about there is good. So what you want is a gap like this. You can see the gap. So I'm going to slit it. This gap's not enough, so I'm going to slit it a little bit more. Okay, so now I've created a gap in there. That's perfect. And we'll do this 4 times. Okay, so now you can see it's not completely split, right? We have a joint there. So now what we want to do is we will stuff this with some whole garlic. So I'm taking 1 pod, just put it in there, and maybe 1 more in here. So यहाँ पे put 2 in here. Now I do have one last one left here. You can see now that my garlic's over, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a green chilli. So green chilli, when it's roasted, has a beautiful flavor. So I'll slit it slightly, and the reason I slit it a little bit, you can see how much I split, just a little bit, is so that all those seeds, the flavor from the seeds, goes into my Baingan. So put that green chilli in there. Now this next step is very, very important. The only oil that you will use for this dish is mustard oil. Don't use any other oil, you will never get an authentic flavor. If you go to a dhaba in Punjab and say you use olive oil or sunflower oil, then it's almost like sacrilege. So this is the best oil to use. This is pure mustard oil. So you take some on your hands. The best thing to use your hands for this dish. हाथ नहीं use करोगे तो मजा क्या? So take this dish. See, I have some oil there, and I just rub it all over the Baingan. I also have 2 tomatoes here. Now, some people don't roast the tomatoes, they just cut it and put it in Baingan ka bharta, but I believe that roasting the tomatoes adds a very, very good flavor. So, we will coat that also, just like that. Just rub it in your hand because your hand is full of oil. And you will notice that I have 1 little red tomato for the color, but the other one is a little raw. Now, the reason for that is the raw tomatoes are a little more sour. Thoda khatta hota hai. And what that does is adds a nice, kick to the dish, which is really enjoyable. So we will take this and now we will roast it. So we will move. Now you'll notice that I have only electric flame here. But what I haven't told you in my video so far is I actually have 2 kitchens in this house. So I'm going to take this to my outside kitchen where I do have fire. Now, if you don't want to do it on a fire or you just have only an electric stove, then you can also take this and put it in the oven. And you bake it in the oven till the eggplant cooks nicely, till the Baingan cooks nicely. But since I have the fire, that flavor is so much better with the smokiness and the roasted flavor. That's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so we're in my outside kitchen now and have a fire going. All I'm going to do is place the Baingan on here along with my tomato. So I have 2 tomatoes, like I said, and make sure you don't burn your hands. So this is going to take about 10 minutes to nicely roast. What we'll do is we'll keep rotating it, and we want to rotate on all sides so we cook everything through, and you should have a nice charred skin on the outside. Okay, so we're back in our inside kitchen now, my regular kitchen, and you can see, look at this. Get closer and look at the char on that, and it's nice and soft. So what we want to do is, while it's still hot, peel it. Same way the tomatoes. Now the tomatoes actually are much easier. See, all I do is just scrape them, and this one also you have to be just a little careful. So you start peeling them. This is going to take some time, but trust me guys, it's worth the effort. So I've cleaned my Baingan now. You can see now there's a little bit of black char in there, and if it's there, don't worry about it because that actually adds a lot of flavor to the dish. So we want that in there, and I've taken out my garlic and my green chilli that I put in there earlier, if you remember. So now what we want to do is, we want to cut this up. Cut the tomatoes, rachad and the baingan. Now when I cut this, there's going to be some juices coming out of this. Now that is like liquid gold. Don't throw that away. That is where the flavor is. So we'll just start chopping it and then we're going to mash it up. So our baingan with all its juices, which we're going to use, so don't leave those juices out. So the baingan is nice and mashed. You see how well it's cooked and roasted. Similarly, our tomatoes also are done. And I have taken my garlic, chopped that up. I've left the green chili whole for now because I have more green chilies I'm going to use. So the first step for our Baingan Bharta is we have some mustard oil, sarson ka tel, that's on the stove. And I'm going to put some jeera. I'm using shahjeera, about a teaspoon or so, but you can use regular jeera also, that's fine. So that's nice and hot. You can see it's already sizzling. And to that, next I'm going to add some grated ginger. Don't use cut or whole ginger. Grated ginger is the best way to use this. So that's about 1.5 teaspoons of grated ginger. Now I'll add my onions. That's 1 large onion or 2 small onions, finely chopped. We'll add that to our bowl. This is one of the few vegetables that actually originated in India. So in India we use potatoes, lady's finger, okra, etc. These are vegetables that were imported when we had the trading going on. So a lot of the Western countries trade our spices for vegetables. So they brought vegetable seeds and took our spices. And that's how a lot of other vegetables came to India, but brinjal we apply. This is our own homegrown vegetable. Now the other thing with brinjal or eggplant, as you can see here, there's a lot of seeds. And because of the seeds over there, this is also called poor man's caviar. So, in Russia, obviously, as you know, Saruga and Beluga are the two kinds of caviar, and those are very expensive. So poor people can't afford that. So they actually have Baingan seeds with a little bit of Baingan nicely mashed, and it gives the same effect as caviar. So it's called poor man's caviar. Now, Baingan by itself, just roasted, I could eat this plain with just some salt. Just that good. So okay, now our onions are done, and you don't just want to reduce, you get them translucent. You don't want them to become too brown. So when this is done, then we'll add some masalas to it. Very simple masalas. I have Kashmiri red chili powder, and I'm also going to add some haldi. So very simple masalas again because Baingan has so much flavor. So 1 teaspoon of haldi, and then I'll add some green chili, freshly chopped green chili. And also, जो पहले roast किया था ना, that green chili, that beautiful one there. I'm going to add that to it. And now I'm going to add my tomatoes to it, which have been roasted and chopped. So we add those tomatoes, and also our garlic. So we don't normally you add garlic much earlier in Indian food, as you know, but this is already cooked and roasted garlic, so we can put it in now. And stir this for about 2 minutes. One more thing. So I told you about a secret ingredient. The secret ingredient in Bharta is maa ka pyar, love. Without love and passion, no food tastes good. So I'm making this, you can see the excitement on my face. I'm making this so much passion because it reminds me of my mom. Also, I'm going to add at this stage, after doing this, some heeng. Now this heeng is very flavorful. I got this from Lucknow. Lucknowi heeng is really unique in its flavor. So I'll add about that much, about 1/4 teaspoon of heeng. Gives a great flavor to this dish. So we'll mix this together. And our base of bharta is done. So the last step is to add the main ingredient, which is our brinjal, eggplant, aubergine, baingan. Okay, so you can see our bharta. The oil is starting to separate from the dish. That's when it's done. It's been cooking for about 10 minutes. So at this stage, we add our final 2 or 3 ingredients. This is homemade Punjabi garam masala, and the recipe for this is already on our channel. So you can look at how to make that. Just about 1/2 teaspoon, not too much because it's already very masaladar. So we add that, and of course we add salt. The reason I add salt last is because I don't want any more water to come out from this dish. Salt releases water from this, so you add salt according to your taste. So I am putting about 1 teaspoon a little less than 1 teaspoon of salt and this much bharta. I can smell the flavor, it's amazing. So after this, the last final ingredient, we can turn off our stove now. And the final ingredient that goes in there is freshly chopped dhania or coriander. So, and be generous with this because this adds a lot of flavor to the dish as well. And you can see there are some stems in there, and that's on purpose. The stems of the dhania, of the coriander, have the most flavor in them. That's it, folks. Baingan bharta is ready, and we are ready to taste this now. Let's taste and find out how it tastes. And this is best enjoyed with pulka. And if you want, you can have some nice tadka dal on the side. Now that recipe, if you want it, put some comments in there and I'll make tadka dal next for you. Tadka dal, bharta, and a little bit of ghee pulka. Life is good. The smokiness, the spiciness, the tartness, it has everything in one dish. You must try this bharta recipe at home and tell me how it turns out. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.